Show me how you're going to cover Welker out of the slot if you're the Giants, and how you're going to cover Cruz out of the slot if you're the Pats. To me, fascinating how you're going to do that.
Well,
are they both going to double team both those guys? Are they going to bracket both those guys in the slot? How much trouble is it to do it in the slot versus doing it outside?
It's if the Patriots could have a wish list, they'd say, "Oh, that'll be great." Put your two best receivers in the slot. They would love that because that's the easiest coverage in the NFL is to double both slot receivers. Down on the goal line, almost every team in the league, well, if they can't figure out what to do, they double the inside receivers on both sides. You do that, and then you make the quarterback throw it outside, and you got the sideline to help you, so that's what you do. And so Wes Welker, you talk about him in the slot, doubling him, that's easy. It really is. But put one guy on him close, the other guy behind, you read the route, and we're going to see both teams do that. I believe both teams, I kind of know this, that both teams are going to have to find a way to throw the football to the sideline a little more than they have this year probably.
Which is something Eli likes to do more than Tom Brady does. Now, Tom Brady can do it. We know he can throw it. He just doesn't have a lot of wide receivers this year. But,
I think it'll be harder for Tom Brady to do, Mike, not just because of talent, but it is something you need to do. It's, in other words, it's like playing a round of golf, and you hit your 2-iron every, and all of a sudden you come to the 18th hole and they go, hit that driver long and right down the middle.
Right.
There's something about throwing the ball towards the sidelines in the NFL. If it's not a part of what you do, it's not something you can just say, hey, it's open this week, let's take advantage of it.
If you are Bill Belichick this week, Bill Belichick's noted to take away one. He's going to take one out of the game. Is he going to take Nix out of the game, or is he going to take Cruz out of the game?
If I'd say one, he'll take Cruz because he is hoping Nix lines up in a different position. In other words, it's easier to single him up because he'll be outside. They can always do other things, not to get complicated. But I would say, especially early in the game, I'll be very surprised if we don't see two defenders on Victor Cruz right away.
And what are the Giants going to do? Are they going to look to try and see if they can take Gronkowski out of the game?
I'm really interested to see this. I heard somebody talking about it earlier. The Giants are going to take these tight ends, and I go, yeah, I've heard that speech from a lot of teams.
Nobody does it.
Look,
the way they line them up, too, is almost impossible.
How are you going to – that's why you can't – the Ravens had the right idea. The Ravens said, we're not going to try to chase where everybody is. We're going to stand here, and whoever comes towards us, we'll cover them.
They covered them well. They did a nice job. I tell you, they played very well in the secondary in that game.
Great. Well, they got a sneaky secondary, I think. The thing about the Ravens, they took advantage of. Well, both teams did in the championship game. They knew it was a championship game. They knew the game would not be called closely, and so they
Great
were.
Point.
They were let now.
Great
the
point.
Super Bowl. Let's see how they let them play. I do not believe they'll let them be as aggressive as we saw in the championship game.
And I thought you made a couple of great points in that game. Number one, let's be honest. If Evans holds the ball, everyone's raving about how that was Flacco's coming out party, because Flacco threw the heck out of the ball in the game and did everything except win the game. He did everything. If Evans holds the ball, everyone's raving about Flacco right now. Number two, and I haven't heard many people other than you talk about this, Tom Brady is like a power pitcher who gets wild. He has wild streaks. Is it because of he puts a lot of body into his throw? Is it because the motion? Why does Tom Brady maybe have a little more wildness problems than some other top throwers?
Because he's very fanatical about his throwing motion, and I admire that. But for some reason he does get offline more than the other guys do.
He does. He has games where he's out of the strike zone.
They all have games like Aaron Rodgers. I notice it when he's not really, just striping the football, but he still makes it work, and nobody notices it except ex-quarterbacks. And, really kind of the same with Eli Manning,
Can a guy
too.
start wild? Now, he missed Gronkowski early in the game for a big play. And he's wild, and he remained pretty wild throughout the game.
He did not, yes.
Can you get yourself back in the slot? Or if you start wild, you're going to be wild.
You can.
How do you do it?
Well, you just relax and let it go the way. But I'm saying you can. A lot of guys do. I mean, I did it many times in my life, I think. But
what do you say? I'm off now. Relax.
Yeah, that's the hard thing. It's how you approach it once you're not throwing it well. And I do believe what happens is to him, or to most guys, when you're not
Can't
throwing
go to the breaking ball like a pitcher might do. You know, like my fastball's not over, so I'm going to throw my slider. I'm going to throw my curveball. You still got to throw the ball the same way.
Well, here's what happens. They start now. Your decision making is more careful, and the chances you take throwing the ball. In other words, instead of just throwing it right into the guy who's kind of tightly covered, well, you throw it really low because you're afraid
it's going to get picked.
Yeah, so you're trying to do both. You want to complete it, but you're being super careful, and the guy's going to make a good catch. I did see a couple of those in the game up in when they played the Ravens. Now, do I know that's exactly what he's doing? No, so I don't beat it to death on
TV.
TV.
Know a lot better than most.
But I do know the
do.
mindset too.
Well,
I do
listen,
know the mindset.
You're a student of throwing the football. Plus, you've played these games, so you understand all that.
You
got a lot more chance of knowing what the heck the quarterback's going through than we do.
Right. I wish I'd expounded on this a little more in the game. When Joe Flacco started out a little slow, the receivers were open. But what happens is, and I know because I've done it in regular season games, for some reason you can't focus and really relax and let your eyes tell you exactly what you see.
Well, you said he needed that first throw, and he got it on that play action where he rolled right and made the throw down the field to Torrey Smith, got him going.
No question. And it's drive starters. I gotta write that in my mental notes.
But that was a pretty
big.
That was a deep drive starter.
Well, I don't think they really thought that was the guy that was going to be open. They thought one of those short ones was going to be. He just got fortunate with that one down the field. But it is amazing. It is, Mike. It's like, I don't know how to say it. It's like making your first par in golf.
Right.
Hitting your first good drive. Whatever you want to correlate. Hitting your first shot in basketball. All quarterbacks are the same. They want to get in rhythm as fast as they can. Give me something easy where I can make that throw.
Do I go in this game thinking that I can expect Eli Manning to play as well as Tom Brady? The numbers say last 6 playoff games, absolutely. Last 4 games, Eli's 11 touchdowns, 1 intercept in his last 4 wins. He has actually played better than Brady late. In his last 6 playoff games, he's outplayed Tom Brady. Is it fair to say Eli comes in and last week he took a beating and kept ticking? He never yelled at anybody. He was cool under pressure, made the big throw on 3rd and 15 that he had to make. Is it fair to say Eli can play this game dead even with Tom Brady at quarterback?
Oh, yes. I wouldn't even hesitate, of course. I mean, to me, Eli Manning probably will be presented with more opportunities than Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady is going to have to play really, really well on Sunday. I mean, he's going to have to be accurate, extremely accurate, and he's going to have to make decisions fast and precise because he is not going to be afforded that extra time that we see that Eli Manning probably will.
Look at those last 4 games.
Yeah, I know.
64%, 317 yards a game passing, 11 touchdowns, 1 pick. That's sweet.
They got it rolling. He gets protected well. I know he took some hits.
He took a lot of hits that line of game.
You know what? I don't mean this to be mean, but
that's like an old-time game. That's
okay.
what an old-time game used to be like.
Let him get hit every once in a while.
He didn't seem to mind either.
No, he handled it well.
He did.